Most men, if not all men, have the same sexual fantasies like Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy. My name is Dr. Z. I am a sociologist. Welcome to another interesting episode of The Talk with Dr. Z. I will be right back. In this episode, I am going to talk about Sean Diddy Combs, aka P. Diddy, and I'm going to talk about his relationship with Cassie. I am not going to dwell on the whole legal case. I am going to share some of the insights I have taken from all the reports that have been happening on social media regarding his feisty relationship with Cassie. Now, I think that most men, if not all men, have the same sexual fantasies like Sean Diddy Combs. The only difference between P. Diddy and the average man is the fact that the average man cannot afford his sexual fantasies. The average man cannot afford the kind of feisty things he wants to do in the bedroom. The average man does not have the financial resources and the power to actually manifest or implement his sexual fantasies. But I believe that if not all men, most men have the same sexual fantasies like Puffy. However, average men are on social media calling Puff Daddy all sorts of names. And guys, don't get me wrong. Puffy is morally bankrupt, okay? He's a depraved human, but I believe most men are depraved and most men have the same sexual fantasies like Puff Daddy. I come from Ghana, West Africa, and I believe that the things that Puffy is being accused of, most powerful African men do it on the African continent. The only difference is the fact that Puffy is a black man in America. Sean Diddy Combs is a black man in America. And anytime black men get power, have money, they begin to think they are no longer black and therefore they feel like they are invincible. They cannot be destroyed. And so they are always humbled by the white power structure. It is important for the white people in power to send a clear message to celebrity black men, letting them know that they are not above the law. And if they decide to mess up, they can be put in their place. That is what I believe. However, whatever Puffy is engaged in terms of his sexual fantasies, I believe most men have the same sexual fantasies, but it is only the men who are powerful, who have the resources. They are the ones that actually manifest those sexual fantasies. And I say this without any evidence, but I know that these types of orgies and kinky sexual stuff does happen in the African continent. Okay, like I said, I am from Ghana, West Africa, and on Ghana TikTok or certain videos posted by Ghanaian news agencies on TikTok, I have heard of them talking about rainbow parties, and they talk about these parties where many people go there to have orgies in Ghana. And even Ghanaian actress Yvonne Nelson, she wrote a book a few years back titled I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. In her book, she talked about being proposed to sleep with certain powerful men for financial gains. And she talked about this type of arrangement happening in Nigeria. In Ghana, there's this popular notion that if you are a young girl and you are into like hookup culture and you want to make real good money, take a few trips to Nigeria to engage in some weird and unconventional sexual relations with powerful men, and you will be paid for it. Guys, this is alleged, okay? I have heard of these type of stories on social media, and to a large extent, I believe it. My point is, whatever P. Diddy is being accused of, he is not the only man with such unconventional kinky sexual fantasies. There are a lot of powerful men who engage in really absurd sexual kinks that we do not know of, especially on the African continent. The only difference is that on the African continent, the men who engage in these types of kinky sexual stuff, they are the ones who hold power, right? They control the judiciary and they control law enforcement. And so there's no way their sexual fantasies and the things they like to do that are not perceived as normal will come out. However, P. Diddy's own came out because he's a black man in America and black people do not control any institutions or have no power in America. All I am saying is the fact that whatever kinky sexual stuff that Puff Daddy is into, many men have the same sexual fantasies. The only difference is it is only the powerful men that are able to actually implement those sexual fantasies. The average man is not a saint. Most men are depraved human beings with low moral compass. Based on my experience and my observation on social media, most men are into stuff like that. The only difference is most men, the average men, cannot afford to actually manifest or implement their kinky, unconventional sexual kinks and fantasies. What are your thoughts? Share them in the comment section. Do you believe that most men, if they had the power and they had the resources, they would actually, engage in some of this unconventional kinky stuff that Puff Daddy is being accused of? Let me know in the comment section. The second point I would like to raise is the fact that money amplifies the demons that you are struggling with. You see, all of us struggle with different demons. The only thing is that money amplifies the demons and give you the opportunity to manifest whatever your fantasies are. Money amplifies demons. One of the things that I pray about is the fact that I feel like I do not want to become rich to the point where I am no longer content with normal life. I believe that for most rich or wealthy and powerful people, I feel like most of them, once they get money beyond a certain point, they are no longer content with normal life. Again, I'm not saying all wealthy people or all rich people, but I'm saying that it gets to a point where when you have too much wealth and too much access to power, you might begin to feel bored with normal life and want something more than the normal, and that is when your demons come to play. So that is one of my prayers. Like, I believe money amplifies demons, and money actually brings out who you are. And if you do not work to conquer your demons, those demons will destroy you. Like I said in my initial point, the average man hold the same sexual fantasies like Puff Daddy. The difference is the fact that the average man cannot afford and does not have access to power to implement his weird sexual fantasies. So money is an amplifier of the demons that you're struggling with. And if you do not tame your demons, they will destroy you. There's a saying that whatever you fail to destroy will end up automatically destroying your life. That is something that I thought I should share. Finally, I want to highlight on the fact that a man can have daughters and still treat women badly. P. Diddy, aka Puffy, has 4 daughters. But guess what? Despite the fact that he can boast of having 4 daughters, he treated Cassie badly. A man can have daughters, love his daughters, treat his daughters right, but would be a terrible lover. And that is the case here, because if anyone should go ask Sean Diddy Combs, would you allow your daughter or any of your daughters to date a man like you? He would say no. Most men do not even want their daughters to date or marry a man like them, because most men know who they are, and most men do not treat women right, like we are seeing in the case of Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie. Meanwhile, Sean Diddy Combs is blessed with 4 daughters. Despite having 4 daughters, he treated Cassie badly, especially when you look at that hotel footage where he was dragging Cassie by the hair. It was horrible. Yet, he is a father with 4 daughters. A man can have daughters and still treat a woman badly. So for you, the women who go like, oh, he loves his mommy, he treats his daughter well. Men can have daughters, men can say they love their mothers and still treat the woman they are sleeping with badly. I do not know what it is when it comes to the psychology of men, but men can have very close proximity to women. A man can say, I love my mom, I love my daughters, and still treat you badly. So dear women, for those of you who use a man's relationship with his mother or his daughter or his sister as the measure for him being a good person, you need to be careful. A man can have that close proximity and supposed love for his mom, for his sister, for his daughter or daughters, and still treat you badly. And we have seen it. And if you should ask Sean Diddy Combs that if he would sit there and watch any man treat any of his daughters the way he treated Cassie, he would say no. Most men don't have a conscience. They will treat another person's daughter horribly, yet claim to love their own daughters and love their own mother. A man can love his mother, a man can love his daughters, a man can love his sister, and still treats the woman he is sleeping with badly. So dear ladies, for those of you on the dating scene who are dating men who are baby daddies, who are dating divorced men who got kids, who are dating men who are mommy's boys, just remember that the fact that he is close with his mom and says he loves his mom or loves his daughter or his sister does not mean he would be a good man to you. Men can love the women in their family and still come out here and treat the women they sleep with like trash. I am just saying, what are your thoughts when it comes to the dynamic between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie? Also, people have raised the issue of the fact that Cassie is not a victim and that she participated in all the things that happened to her. I just want to emphasize the fact that Cassie was 19 when she met Sean Diddy Combs, who was at the time 37. So there was a clear age gap, and there was also a power dynamic or a power difference, because Sean Diddy Combs owned a label, a music label. He was in the entertainment business and he had access to power before meeting Cassie. So there is a clear power dynamic and power difference. And so I believe that is important to all the young women. You need to understand that when you meet men who are older than you, especially close to 2 decades or 3 decades older than you must understand that there is a clear power difference, and perhaps you will be groomed. Because most men, when they go after very young women like that, they understand you are naive and they can groom you to become what they want you to be. Again, I am not speculating or saying that is the case. I am only emphasizing the implications of Sean Diddy Combs meeting Cassie when she was 19, and I think they formally started dating when she was 21. Relationships with such huge age differences definitely emphasize power difference and some type of grooming that goes on. I wish Cassie the very best, but for all the men and women who are judging Sean Diddy Combs, I want you to understand that most men have the same sexual fantasies that Sean Diddy Combs have. The only difference between Puff Daddy and the average man is the fact that the average man does not have the resources and the power to actually manifest those kinky sexual fantasies. I am just saying, what are your thoughts? Share them in the comment section. My name is Dr. Z. Thank you for watching another interesting episode of The Talk with Dr. Z with me, and I will see you on the next episode. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, and engage with me in the comment section. Take care and have yourself a wonderful day. Bye.